It's now. You can go.
Okay, have you put a slide? Daniela? Okay.
Second, sorry.
Λοιπόν, καλησπέρα σας. Καλώς ήρθατε σε αυτή τη διαδικτυακή παρουσίαση της ProQuest One Academic. Όπως είπε η κυρία Παπα-Νικολάου, ονομάζομαι Γιάννης Γκανάτσιος, είμαι υπεύθυνος πωλήσεων της ProQuest και Ex Libris μαζί, που βρισκόμαστε τώρα. Ιταλία, Ελλάδα, Κύπρο και Μάλτα. Η ProQuest One Academic, την οποία απόκτησε το Ανοιχτό Πανεπιστήμιο από φέτος, είναι αυτή τη στιγμή η μεγαλύτερη πληροφορική πηγή στον κόσμο, όπου την περιέχει. Μπορώ να ζητήσω να κλείσετε τον ήχο, τα μικρόφωνα όλοι, για να μην έχουμε την ήχο. Αυτή η βάση δεδομένων, αυτή η συλλογή, θα την έλεγα, η ProQuest One Academic, η οποία είναι μέρος της σειράς ProQuest One, στο οποίο έχουμε κάνει, υπάρχει και ProQuest One Literature, για την οποία θα μιλήσουμε την επόμενη εβδομάδα, και ProQuest One Business. Από την εξέταση των δεδομένων χρήσης που έχουμε κάνει στην πλατφόρμα της ProQuest και από συνομιλίες και έρευνες που κάναμε και με φοιτητές και με ακαδημαϊκούς, διαπιστώσαμε ότι παρόλο που οι παραδοσιακοί τύποι περιεχομένου, βιβλία και περιοδικά, δηλαδή τα επιστημονικά περιοδικά, εξακολουθούν να είναι οι πιο χρησιμοποιημένοι τύποι περιεχομένου, υπάρχει και ένα ευρύ φάσμα πληροφοριών, άλλων τύπων πληροφοριών, που χρειάζονται όλοι για να διεξάγουν την έρευνα και τις μελέτες. Και υπάρχουν και κάποιοι παράγοντες που έχουν συμβάλει σε αυτό. Πρώτα απ' όλα η τεχνολογία. Είναι ευκολότερη η κοινή χρήση του περιεχομένου από ποτέ υπήρχε, και με την πανδημία. Αλλά και από πριν, η τεχνολογία έχει βοηθήσει στο να γίνεται πρόσβαση στο κείμενο από παντού και να ανεβούν κιόλας και οι απαιτήσεις από το κείμενο στο οποίο θα υπάρχει πρόσβαση στο πώς και να είναι διαθέσιμο και προσβάσιμο από παντού. Επίσης, έχουν αλλάξει τα μέρη στα οποία δημοσιεύονται οι επιστημονικές πληροφορίες. Έχουν συμπεριληφθεί τα ιστολόγια, τα blogs, podcast. Επίσης, χρειάζεται υπάρχει και ανάγκη για περισσότερη πρόσβαση σε πληροφορίες. Είτε αυτές είναι διατριβές, είτε τα έγγραφα εργασίας, τα working papers που λέμε, τα οποία βασικά είναι τα επιστημονικά άρθρα πριν περάσουν τη διαδικασία peer review. Δηλαδή, πολλές φορές είναι 2-3 χρόνια πριν παρουσιαστούν σε κάποια πλατφόρμα κάποιο εκδότη. Και τις εφημερίδες. Γενικότερα, ο τρόπος με τον οποίο καταναλώνουμε τις πληροφορίες είναι πολύ διαφορετικός από, ας πούμε, και μόλις 2 χρόνια πριν. Οι περισσότεροι μαθητές, φοιτητές έχουν πλέον συνηθίσει να καταναλώνουν περιεχόμενο στο διαδίκτυο και ειδικά μέσω βίντεο. Και οι πιο συνηθισμένοι τύποι που βλέπουμε περιλαμβάνουν ακαδημαϊκό περιεχόμενο σαν διδακτορικές διατριβές, τα έγγραφα εργασίας, συνέδρια, πρακτικά συνεδρίων, ιστορικές συλλογές και πρωτογενείς πηγές. Και υπάρχει και μια αύξηση του πόσο πολύ κομμάτι επιστημονικής εργασίας δημοσιεύεται στα blogs, με μη επιστημονικά περιοδικά, εφημερίδες, περιοδικά και εμπορικά περιοδικά. Έτσι, καθώς η ProQuest περιέχει, έχουμε διαφορετικούς τύπους περιεχομένων, από ηλεκτρονικά βιβλία, βίντεο, τα περιοδικά, όλα αυτά, εμείς τα βάλαμε όλα μαζί. Όπως βλέπουμε εδώ, είναι οι 4 βάσεις δεδομένων που περιέχονται. Η πρώτη είναι η ProQuest Central. Η ProQuest Central είναι μια πολυθεματική βάση δεδομένων. Περιέχει 47, να τις πούμε, υποβάσεις δεδομένων. Καλύπτει 175 θεματικές κατηγορίες. Περιέχει σχεδόν 20.000 επιστημονικά και εμπορικά περιοδικά σε πλήρες κείμενο. Εκατομμύρια, κυριολεκτικά εκατομμύρια, από reports, αναφορές, τα working papers, τα case studies, αναφορές περιπτώσεων που είναι πολύ σημαντικές, τις αναφορές αγορών και πολλά άλλα. Κατόπιν, η ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis Global. Η ProQuest είναι το επίσημο αποθετήριο της Βιβλιοθήκης του Κογκρέσου στις ΗΠΑ για τη Βόρεια Αμερική, από το 1999 με νόμο, από το 1955 αναγνωρισμένη από το Association of Research Libraries στις ΗΠΑ. Όλες δηλαδή βιβλιοθήκες ερευνητικές. Οι διατριβές, οι διδακτορικές διατριβές, αυτή τη στιγμή είμαστε περισσότερες από 5 εκατομμύρια διατριβές από όλο τον κόσμο. Η πρώτη ξεκινάει το 1604 από την Ελβετία και εκ των οποίων περισσότερα από 2,5 εκατομμύρια είναι σε πλήρες κείμενο. Και οι διατριβές είναι σημαντικές γιατί είναι ακόμα πιο αξιόπιστες, να το πω έτσι, ακόμα και από τα περιοδικά peer review που λέμε, τα έγκριτα επιστημονικά περιοδικά. Η διαδικασία είναι πολύ πιο δύσκολη από ότι να γίνει μια διαδικασία peer-reviewed. Οπότε θεωρείται και σαν κείμενο, σαν έργο ολοκληρωμένο, το πιο αξιόπιστο που υπάρχει. Επίσης, η Academic Video Online, η οποία είναι μια πλατφόρμα που περιέχει βίντεο. Είναι γύρω σε 70.000 βίντεο και η οποία πλατφόρμα είναι και διαδραστική. Δηλαδή, επιτρέπει και στη βιβλιοθήκη να κρατήσει μονίμως κάθε χρόνο έναν αριθμό βίντεο που έχουν πολλή χρήση ή που κάποιοι καθηγητές τα θέλουν για να τα χρησιμοποιήσουν στη διδασκαλία. Και επίσης επιτρέπει να φορτώσετε και δικά σας βίντεο, χωρίς όριο. Έτσι ώστε να χρησιμοποιηθούν και στην διδασκαλία. Ο κάθε χρήστης που θα θέλει να φορτώσει ένα βίντεο θα έχει 3 επιλογές. Το βλέπω μόνο εγώ, σε αυτή την περίπτωση μπορεί να είναι οτιδήποτε. Το βλέπουν όλοι μες στο ίδρυμά μου και το βλέπουν όλοι οι χρήστες της πλατφόρμας της Academic Video Online. Οπότε, επειδή γίνονται και citations σε ορισμένα από αυτά τα βίντεο, είναι σημαντικό. Επίσης, σαν χαρακτήρας των βίντεο αυτών μπορεί να είναι τα πάντα. Μπορεί να είναι από διαλέξεις, μπορεί να είναι workshop, μπορεί να είναι συνεντεύξεις, τα πάντα. Και είναι ακαδημαϊκού χαρακτήρα όλα. Και καταλήγουμε στην Academic Complete, που είναι μία βάση δεδομένων. 180 τώρα έχει φτάσει σχεδόν 200.000 τίτλους πολυθεματικούς ηλεκτρονικών βιβλίων. Και είναι ευθυγραμμισμένη με παγκόσμιες τάσεις στην έρευνα. Έχουμε αυτές τις 4 βάσεις δεδομένων γιατί ακολουθούν λίγο και την πορεία της έρευνας. Δηλαδή, ξεκινάω την έρευνά μου, τη μελέτη μου από το βίντεο. Να δω περίπου τι υπάρχει, να πάρω ιδέες στο πού θα πρέπει να επικεντρωθώ. Το δεύτερο βήμα είναι περνάω στις μονογραφίες, όπου πλέον έχω βρει ακριβώς θεματική κατηγορία και το αντικείμενο στο οποίο θα εμβαθύνω. Το τρίτο βήμα θα είναι να περάσω στην ProQuest Central, που έχει τα επιστημονικά περιοδικά, τα reports, τις αναφορές, τα δεδομένα, τα πάντα. Οπότε έτσι θα μπορέσω να μπω ακόμα βαθύτερα στην έρευνα και στο τέλος η Dissertation and Thesis Global, που περιέχει τις διατριβές, να κάνω μια σύγκριση με ένα ολοκληρωμένο έργο όπως είναι η διατριβή. Ή να ξεκινήσω αλλιώς, να ξεκινήσω από τις διατριβές για να δω τι έχει εκδοθεί παγκοσμίως σε αυτό το τομέα στο οποίο με ενδιαφέρει. Και έτσι να δω και τις καινούριες τάσεις. Επειδή ακριβώς οι διατριβές και αυτή η βάση περιέχει όλες τις καινούριες τάσεις που υπάρχουν σε διεθνές επίπεδο, στον ακαδημαϊκό κόσμο και στον επιστημονικό κόσμο γενικά, είναι πολύ σημαντικό να υπάρχει και αυτή η βάση είναι σημαντική γιατί αποτελεί τη βάση. Από αυτήν μάλιστα εμείς χρησιμοποιούμε για να καταλάβουμε τις τάσεις της ακαδημαϊκής έρευνας σε παγκόσμιο επίπεδο για να δημιουργήσουμε νέες βάσεις δεδομένων. Γιατί από εκεί όλη η καινοτομία υπάρχει σε αυτή τη βάση δεδομένων. Next slide, please, Daniela. Στο επόμενο slide έχουμε απλά ένα overview, μια συνολική εικόνα του τι υπάρχει μέσα. Όπως βλέπουμε αριστερά στην ProQuest Central, είναι μικρά τα γράμματα, καταλαβαίνω. Πάνω-πάνω είναι οι εφημερίδες. Υπάρχουν περίπου 3.000 εφημερίδες μέσα. Μαζί με τα Newswire, που είναι τα Newswire, μπορεί να είναι τα πρακτορία ειδήσεων, αυτά που βγάζουν συνεχώς και ενημερώνονται μέσα στην ημέρα. Υπάρχει το κομμάτι με τις επιστημονικές επιστήμες και φυσικές επιστήμες, κατόπιν και τεχνολογία, κατόπιν υπάρχει ένα κομμάτι οικονομία, ένα κομμάτι με κοινωνικές επιστήμες, κατόπιν ιατρική, υπάρχει και τέχνες και υπάρχουν και μια σειρά από βάσεις δεδομένων, 10 βάσεις δεδομένων εδώ, οι οποίες είναι τοπικές βάσεις δεδομένων, περιφερειακές, δηλαδή Ανατολική και Νότια Ασία. Είναι πολυθεματικές, περιέχουν εκδόσεις από τις χώρες, τις περιοχές αυτές, γεωγραφικές περιοχές, σε γλώσσες τοπικές. Οπότε μπορεί να χρησιμοποιηθούν και για γλωσσολογία. Και τέλος, μαζί με τις άλλες βάσεις, υπάρχει στο τέλος και το Publicly Available Content Database, στο οποίο βασικά τι έχουμε κάνει. Έχουμε συγκεντρώσει ό,τι υπάρχει διαθέσιμο δωρεάν στο ίντερνετ, στο open access που λέμε, σε μια βάση δεδομένων. Έτσι είναι πολύ πιο εύκολο και να αναζητήσετε αυτά τα περιεχόμενα και να τα έχετε δίπλα με αυτά που έχει πληρώσει η βιβλιοθήκη και είναι. Γιατί μέχρι σήμερα όλες αυτές οι πηγές δωρεάν στο ίντερνετ ήταν διάφορα links και διάφορα εδώ και εκεί που τα βάλαζαν οι βιβλιοθήκες στη σελίδα τους. Ενώ τώρα είναι σε μια βάση δεδομένων με ευρετήριο, ώστε είναι πολύ πιο εύκολη η αναζήτησή τους και η χρήση τους. Η Academic Complete, η οποία περιέχει τις 10 θεματικές κατηγορίες, από οικονομικά, ιατρική, με βιβλία, περισσότερα από τα μισά, γύρω στο 60% είναι των τελευταίων 18 μηνών, τα front list, όπως λέγονται. Αν και στα βιβλία δεν είναι τόσο σημαντικό το τελευταίο όπως είναι στα επιστημονικά περιοδικά. Ή, όπως είπαμε, η ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis Global, που είναι πάνω από 5 εκατομμύρια διατριβές, περισσότερες από τις μισές είναι σε πλήρες κείμενο, και το Academic Video Online, στο οποίο, ξέχασα να πω πριν, υπάρχουν και βίντεο ακόμα και με τα 360 μοίρες, αλλά και virtual reality βίντεο μέσα, στα οποία χρειάζεται βέβαια να έχετε τη μάσκα, αλλά υπάρχουν και αυτά μέσα. Σε αυτό το σημείο θα δώσω το λόγο στην Ντανιέλα, τη συνάδελφό μου. Ήθελα να ρωτήσω αν υπάρχουν κάποιες ερωτήσεις άμεσες τώρα για αυτά που είπα. Να τις βάλετε στο chat και θα απαντήσουμε είτε στα ελληνικά είτε στα αγγλικά. Εγώ και η Μαρία Παραδεσιανού θα απαντήσουμε σε αυτό. Βλέπω μια ερώτηση με ποιον τρόπο να έχετε πρόσβαση. Είναι ήδη αναγνωρισμένο σε IP, οπότε πρέπει να είμαι μέσα από τη βιβλιοθήκη να φαίνεται κατευθείαν αυτή η βάση, να μην έχετε πρόσβαση. Καθώς και χρησιμοποιώντας το Easy Proxy, νομίζω, που έχει βιβλιοθήκη, να το βλέπετε και από απόσταση. Ντανιέλα, I give the word to you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to actually go online. There is a long PowerPoint going on after these slides, but we will distribute this afterwards. I would like to go online and show you how actually ProQuest One Academic works in the live. Okay, I hope you can all see my desktop and my browser. I am in ProQuest One Academic. Let me see if I can. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with the ProQuest platform, but there are some characteristics that return for every database. So when you enter into the ProQuest One Academic first time, you enter into the basic search, which is where we are, which is also the homepage of the database, where you can find some description of the single components that Yanis described. Also, I'm sure that Yanis said, I don't know, but I am sure that he said that ProQuest One Academic is a enormous collection of different types of sources. I hope that you can mute yourself, please, because there's some background noise. And in the very beginning, when you want to start the search, you will see that you have pre-selected all, but then you have some buttons that will allow you to select specific types of sources. So at the very top, they have put what are the most important sources of the 4 main components. So for ProQuest Central, the most looked after sources are the scholarly journals, almost always full text. Then there is the collection of the books, the multimedia collection from Avon, and the dissertation and thesis. But then in this menu here, you can find a lot more sources to select. Now, if you are exploring a topic and you don't know from scratch which would be the best source, don't worry about that, because in the page with the results, you will have, among the other filters that you can use, you will have also the source types to choose from. Okay, so let's start with an example. Now, as you saw, ProQuest One Academic covers basically every discipline, okay? Which means that you can find in here basically something for any topic. And you can explore it with your topic. And I could stay here 2 hours just showing you several topics. So I made a, let's say, an educated decision to show you something. And then, of course, you can try yourself and explore it for more topics. So one topic that would be a hot topic, if you will, is the green economy. Can you all hear me? Because I'm seeing some notes that there is no good connection, and I'm seeing that I am having no good connection. Can you all hear me well?
Yes,
Maria,
we can.
Yeah,
Yes, we
we
can.
can.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. Let's see. Because I see some notes saying that there was no good connection for somebody. And now you can start with a very simple search like this, putting together the words that you want to be in the same document, like you would do in Google. And as in Google, when you search like this, you're actually asking the system to find all the documents that contain all of those words into the same document at least once. Okay, and so that's why we retrieve so many documents, because most of the databases are full text. One other thing to keep in mind is that ProQuest has a sort of vocabulary which will retrieve automatically some variants in the English words. For example, there may be some materials in Greek. You can explore. There is a language field where you can explore in Greek as well. Actually, if there are sources in Greek characters, you can even try the Greek characters. If there are any articles that are written in Greek, you can try. Okay. Now, let's say that my reflex is searching that in English because the most of the sources are in English, even if there are some sources in local language here and there. Because most of the documents are in full text and maybe even long, when you search with the end, that's what happens. You get a lot. Okay. And as I said, because the system will retrieve also some variants like the plurals, but also the adjectives, the comparative and superlative adjectives, or even the different spelling between British and American English. You see what happens here? You get greener world economy. So this is the comparative from green. And you got it. And if there was the pandemics or any of these would be, it's not the case here, but it would be the plural, that would be retrieved as well. Okay. Now in the results, you have in the center, you have the list of the results. It could be up to 100 titles per page. Of course, there's so many here. You have here highlighted some books and some video. But of course, your next step would be to try to reduce the results, focus them in some way. And you have the filters here that will tell you, for example, you can select only the full text or can select the peer-reviewed, which almost automatically would reduce to the scholarly journals, basically, because those are the ones that are officially the peer-reviewed periodicals. Now you can see how much I reduce it with the full text limiter. And I didn't reduce that much because, as I said, most of the content here is full text anyway, okay? Then you have the graph for the publication date. And just notice that there may be some articles that are even available online before being available on print because it projects to 2022. And it is very easy to use. You can initially, it will tell you that each column is a decade. So for example, if we want to, this one projects to 2029. So it starts from 2020 actually. But is, of course, because of the pandemic part, the most of the results will be in this decade anyway. And here, actually, you can, because this is just 2 years or 1 year and few months, each column is a month. And we'll see how much is the distribution for each month, okay? And you can even be even more selective and just select a range of months. Okay, I don't know, for example, starting from middle of the year last year or October in this case, and reduce further the results this way. Or, as we said, you can analyze the source types here. you have the initial, the most important ones, but then if you click on more, you will get the full list of all the source types. And usually what happens is that at the top, you will have the wire feeds, which is the news wires. Okay, so it's the news agencies that are feeding here, not exactly real time, but several times per day. And they are, of course, the most numerous, but perhaps for your searches, sometimes they are not needed. They are perhaps sometimes very useful for business searches, for financial searches, where you want to assess the value of the stock exchanges, for example. They may be very useful. Some other times, perhaps, they are not the most sought after source. And you can, in here, you can either include some of the sources or exclude some of the sources if you don't want them. Okay, so for example, in this case, I can exclude the wire feeds and reduce a lot the results by excluding these only. But I still want the articles from newspapers, from books, trade journals, etc. So I can be very selective in the way I can use the filters here. Okay. I still will get a lot of results, okay? But this is a very simple search. You can make a little step further if we go in advanced search, because in advanced search, you will have the ability of limiting to some portions of the document, okay? So some of the fields. So for example, if I put down again, green economy pandemic, but I will ask to search everywhere but the full text, to exclude that part of the article that is the longest, usually on average. And if I exclude that part, it will be searching the title, the abstract, the field that contains the subjects, for example, stuff like that. So they will still search some fields that contain the text, but will exclude the text, the field that is longest, and will retrieve the most of the results, even if they are not particularly relevant. So when I search like this, and I click on search, see how much I have reduced this already? So these I can be sure that are much more relevant. Okay, I still have all the other options to reduce them. And when usually the results will arrive sorted by relevance automatically, even if you actually can change, and you can change to most recent first, for example, or to oldest first if you are doing a historical search. Okay, so when they are sorted by relevance, you will see at the very top those that have the most numerous times appearing the terms, and usually they are in the title. So just exploring the first pages will bring you most of the results. Let's have a look briefly to some of the sources that let's say the scholarly journals will include sometimes the full text in HTML. In some other times, there may be the PDF for the reports, particularly. If we go to the books, you may enter the page, clicking on the title. You have a page that tells you the availability, the bibliographic details, the table of contents broken down, but you can also read it online. And so you have the reader where you can read the book, add annotations, page the book, add a bookmark and stuff like that, create a bibliographic citation, extract the permanent link for the book, etc. You will have also an area which is called bookshelf, for which you need to sign, where you can save the books in order to read them later. Okay. And then we will have a look at the video just to see how they show here. The video. I'm trying to exclude the filter. Let's see. Okay, I'm back to 1000, and if I click on audio and video works, you will see that there will be the icons for the video. In some cases also you will have the little icon of the image. And when you enter into the video, you can, in this case, the video cannot be saved, okay? And even the books can be purchased online. In some cases can be downloaded for a limited, well, actually this can be downloaded as a matter of fact. There are some that can't, but in this case it can. So it very much depends on where it comes, but you see that down here, you have the transcript of the speech, whatever is being said. And this is also the searchable part of the book, of the video in this case. Okay, so you can look into this. You have the transcript that you can look into, which helps, of course, understanding what the lady is saying, etc. So they come from several sources, the video. And they may have several ways of treating them. Life after the vaccine in Israel, for example. Okay. And this is an audio, actually, and you can, again, download it, and you will have the possibility of reading it. And every time you display a record, whether it's a book, or, well, not much for the book, but for the articles, for the reports, for the video, etc. Let me see if I can find a dissertation. Dissertations are, most of the times they are full text. Let's see if we are, let's say 50% of them are full text. This one is available in full text, okay? So when I open it, usually what I get the full text in PDF, the full dissertation, okay? Then I have all the bibliographic details, and then I have the bibliographic references that are placed into a separate set, in a separate page. And in some cases, if we are lucky, you may find some of these may be hyperlinks that will bring you to some other articles. It's not the case in this case, but it may happen. Or you can have something like this, cited by, so you can find articles that cite this book, for example. And also you will have here on the right links that will report to you documents that share some references with this one, and also related documents that more or less cover the same topic. And they share perhaps some sort of keywords or types of descriptors. And that's why they've been identified, and you can use them here. Now, whether you are in the results page or in the single document, let's go back in the results page. You can here have a set of tools that will allow you, after you have selected some of the documents, of course, you need to give it an object for the action, right? You can create a bibliography with the citation from these. You can email the content, or you can print this page. And you can go in here and you will have several more options for saving. In some cases, there will be saving the bibliographic citation only in the reference managers. You can have an area which is called My Research, where you can save the documents, arrange them into folders into your My Research area. Or if there are, proper records, you can save them in several formats, okay? And that will be particularly useful for text records, like the articles from journals or from the magazines and stuff like that. Okay, do we have more time, or are we out of time? I think we are more or less at the time. I'm not sure. I mean, I've seen some messages in chat. I'm not sure if the questions, some of them are in Greek, so I will need to translate it to be able to answer.
Daniela, yes. I am translating in the chat right now for you.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yes.
Okay, I want to try another search, another little search that I tried before. And this will be, for example, we can go back. Let's go in advanced search actually. And we use the same trick as we used before. So let's say that I want to search about the advances in architecture and in construction for anti-seismic, let's say, buildings, okay? So I can put seism, and I use the truncation asterisk, seismic, okay? Or earthquake, okay? There's a question about ancient Greek and Latin. There may be that you can find in dissertations some stuff like that. Articles, books, and which are written in Greek or have to use Latin characters in order to retrieve results. You have to try with the characters. If there may be some documents in original characters, okay? But most of the times, I think they are transposed into Latin texts, Latin characters. And so I would, in some cases, I would try both and see if you can find something. One other thing that you can find is, for example, you can use the language here and see if you can find any literature in Greek. Now, for the dissertations particularly, my experience with the Italian, I'm not sure about if the original text is in Greek alphabet, you might be able to search in original with the original alphabet. If that had been transcribed, then you need to use the Latin alphabet instead. Okay, but it's just a matter of trying. The incidence of the Greek text, don't expect to find much. Okay, it would be episodical, to say the least, okay, random, if you will. I'm not sure that there are sources that are original from newspapers from Greece that I can say. In some dissertations, you may find that perhaps sometimes they are in Greek, even if they are not from Greece. At least, for example, in Italian, I find dissertations in Italian that come from departments studying Italian literature, for example, in the United States, and they are written in Italian. So you may find something written in Greek that doesn't necessarily come from Greece, okay? Now here we just want to complete this example or construct or architecture, okay? And again, one thing that I can do is reducing immediately the surface of the documents that are searched. And you will see that the system will put around the terms that are searched with the OR appropriately, group them separately with the parentheses, okay? And still have a lot of them, okay? And then I can start exploring these by several ways, which is the time coverage, which is the source coverage. There are other filters down here that you can use by language. And in this case, when you use them as filters, you can even analyze the content. So how many sources, what is the language coverage, for example, English, Chinese, French, German. There may be, if you are lucky in something in Greek, we are not very much lucky every time, okay? You see the majority is in English. And there are the publication titles, which are the names of the journals or periodicals or newspapers, etc. The geographic location, when it's mentioned in the document, okay? And the distribution between the databases that make up the collection, where it comes from. There are sub-collection of ProQuest centrals that are shown here again. If the name of the, let's say, of a notable person is named into the article, it will end up in here. This is not the author, okay? It's the name that is a subject topic of the article. And again, if the company in a company organization is mentioned in the article, that's where it will also appear in a specific field. So you can explore each one of these and use them to refine the search if needed. Okay, I'm showing you just very simple applications just to become used to it. There is more, and you may want to know more. Just keep in mind that we offer a lot of support text. One is the online help itself, where you can find a lot of information on the search syntax, search tools, and all the other features of the platform. We create LibGuides that are created for each platform and also for several products, and you can find there a lot of information as well. In the support center, you will find a lot of documentation about administration particularly. But for the use of the platform, you can use the online help and also the LibGuides, or you can use us. You can ask us. And whenever you would like to make some more in-depth analysis or a particular topic or particular type of searching, just let us know. We can perhaps arrange something more specific on a specific department, topic, etc. Any questions that we may answer today, or we will revise them afterwards? Okay, I am literary newspapers. We will see them, the literary, if you mean by the literature, we will see the next collection next week, which is called PQ Literature, what you can find in there. Just keep in mind that one thing that you can do also is explore the entire catalog of the publications in here. So in here, in the publications section, you can search the name of the publication here in the title or in a small summary that is provided. Now, this number that you can see here is actually comprehensive of a certain number of books that are under my account that are not actually in the collection of ProQuest One Academic. Okay, so the collection in ProQuest One Academic contains around 160,000, something like 190,000 perhaps at this point. So a little bit less than 200,000, okay, in terms of books. But you can see here the breakdown by different sources. And so you can analyze each one of them. So each one of these is a single book, but it includes something that is not included necessarily in the PQ1 Academic. But you can search, and let's say if you go to the scholarly journals, what type of translations you are looking for? You may place the request to Maria Paradise or to Yannis or even to me if you want to arrange something that goes a little bit more in detail. Okay. So yes. There are some questions about how to subscribe to the platform. Actually, what you're seeing is something that your institution has already subscribed. We are not selling this to you. We are showing it to you because you have it already. Okay. So we wanted to present it to you first, and then perhaps at some point we can arrange something more in depth, as I said. Now, for the journals, you see, will tell you if it's available full text, up to which point, because there may be for some journals embargo periods. So it's more important here for you to know which is the availability. Okay, so I invite you to explore also this session here. I don't know if we have more time to go again, a little bit more, if we are still in the time frame. If there are any questions, I can go on. You can browse this also. Now, this browse here for this collection is available for some portions of the connection, not for everything, okay? It's a very easy to use and an easy access to some of the pieces of the collection, the part of the business part of the, let's say, the text part, if you will, the ProQuest Central, that has arranged some of the reports in a way that makes them very easy to explore. Similarly, for dissertation and thesis, is available an indexing by location, by institution, or by subject, so that you can explore this collection as well via several criteria. So it's not covering necessarily the entire collection, but providing some easy access for some portion of it. So again, I invite you to explore it and see if it can make your life easier in using some of these, okay? What else? I have several more examples. Actually, I tried some, and I could, when we send out this the presentation, which contains some examples in the presentation itself. So you will find some examples in the process of using basic search, advanced search, etc. And in the end, you will find some useful references to support resources that you can, the ones that I mentioned particularly, that you can try and consult. You will find a little just mention of some of the search features that I have shown. So using the logical operators, the variants, the word variants, using the truncation. So some of the tools that I used, so you can find them in here. And here you can find the links to the support resources, okay? And also we invite you, if you have some time at some point, to provide your feedback using this survey link whenever you get the presentation. We will send this to you, and I have some more examples here that I tried yesterday. Some topics that are go from business management to the earthquake to green economy, and then archaeological finds. This one is interesting. It gets some interesting findings, and then medicine, health and medicine, environment, or some in terms of natural sciences, etc. So you can really explore 360 grades and find something useful. And I can send them to you this, so you can have a look at these and perhaps try and exercise them, okay? We will see more for the literature collection next week, and you will become more familiar to the platform and to the features in the platform. But again, if then any of your departments wants to arrange something more specific, we can try and arrange that in the next few weeks, months, whenever. Thank you all. I'm sure we didn't answer all the questions. I saw a lot of them coming, but as I said, they are recorded, and so we will go through them with the help of Maria and try to answer to them in the next few days. Okay. And we will present to you, we will send you also the link to the LibGuide that we created for the Greek customers, where we will also store the recording of this event. So you can find, actually, that's where you might find the presentation and the recording for this presentation if you want in the LibGuide, okay? If we are permitted to put that there. Thank you. I think I mean, I didn't exhaust all the topics, as a matter of fact. I didn't finish to show you everything, but I'd say that for today is enough as a first taste. And thank you for joining and for your attention and interest. And I don't know if Yanis wants to add anything. Perhaps Yanis left.
Yanis has left because he had another commitment in starting.
Okay, I'm stopping the recording now, if you don't mind. Okay. And